He was just 17. But that night, the world stood still. Rain fell in Munich, and under the stadium lights, a boy curled a ball into history. His name, Lamine Yamal.
Kita pantang pulang sebelum berperang. Kita kan berjuang menjadi pemenang.
It was raining in Munich, soft, steady, and somehow cinematic. The kind of rain that doesn't drench but lingers, like a memory that refuses to fade. Beneath the stadium lights of Allianz Arena, a 16-year-old boy stood still, one hand on his hip, the other wiping rain off his brow. A nation behind him, a continent watching. His name was Lamine Yamal. Just seconds before, he had curled the ball with his left foot, like a painter tracing the final stroke. It wasn't just a goal. It was a masterpiece. The kind of goal kids replay on cracked iPads and commentate with whispered awe. That night, Spain defeated France 2-1, and Yamal's strike wasn't just the opener. It was a statement. He wasn't the future. He was the now. But this story isn't about a single goal or a single game. It's about the rise of a boy who plays with the elegance of someone twice his age and the soul of someone who's been waiting his whole life for this moment. Lamine Yamal, from Esplugues de Llobregat, son of a mother from Equatorial Guinea and a father from Morocco, born into a small apartment just outside Barcelona, raised by love, humbled by life. Football was more than a game. It was a way out, a way forward. From the age of 5, his left foot whispered secrets to the ball. At La Masia, Barcelona's iconic youth academy, coaches whispered to each other about the boy with the velvet touch. And yet, when he made his debut for Barcelona's first team at just 15, the world wasn't ready. But he was. He didn't just survive the spotlight, he danced in it. And when the Euro 2024 tournament came calling, it was Yamal, not a veteran, not a superstar, who answered. And with each touch, pass and goal, he rewrote what it meant to be young in football. They said no one so young could do this. He did. And now, as Barcelona chases the Champions League, as Spain lifts the Euro trophy, as whispers of a Ballon d'Or echo in locker rooms and living rooms, the world leans in. Who is Lamine Yamal really? Stay close, because this story is just beginning. Before the lights of Munich, before the whistles and the thunderous cheers, there were early mornings in Catalunya. It's 6:30 a.m. A street lamp flickers outside the Yamal family apartment. Inside, the sound of a kettle. A mother tying her son's shoelaces like he's still 5. A silent nod from the boy. No words needed, because training starts soon. La Masia isn't Hogwarts. It's tougher. The magic isn't served in potions. It's sweat, failure, and repetition. But even here among the elite, Yamal was different. He didn't dribble. He danced. He didn't pass. He painted. At 13, coaches started to whisper, "This one's got it." Not the kind of praise you throw around lightly in the shadow of Messi, Iniesta, Xavi. At 14, scouts from England and Germany circled like sharks. But he stayed. Barcelona was more than a club. It was his home. At 15, the unthinkable happened. He debuted for the senior team. Not because someone got injured. Not because of a publicity stunt. But because he earned it. Because when Hansi Flick watched him in training, he saw something beyond statistics. I saw Messi's calm, Ronaldinho's joy, and something else. Something that's just Yamal, Flick once said. His first goal? Against Real Betis. The ball kissed the bottom of the crossbar and dropped in like it knew it had a story to tell. The media exploded. Fans screamed. Pundits argued. But the boy didn't change. After the match, he asked for extra footage of his own mistakes, spent hours breaking down angles, texted his youth coach to say thank you. He didn't want fame. He wanted to get better. And when Barcelona's Champions League campaign began, Yamal didn't warm the bench. He led the charge. Group stage, he danced around defenders twice his age. Round of 16, a goal and an assist against PSG. Quarterfinal, that 89th minute equalizer versus Inter Milan, the stuff of dreams. But even when fans chanted his name, he walked off the pitch and sat quietly beside the kit man, unlaced his boots, looked up and smiled. Because this This stage, this chaos, was exactly where he belonged. He wasn't chasing the moment. He was becoming it. The night of the Euro 2024 semi-final wasn't supposed to belong to him. Spain versus France, Goliaths on both sides, Kylian Mbappé, Antoine Griezmann, Aurélien Tchouaméni. The spotlight had its favorites, and yet it found him, 6 years old, shoulders narrower than most, heart bigger than all. From the opening whistle, he was everywhere. Gliding down the left wing, his movements weren't just effective, they were poetic. Every feint, every step over, every darting run. It didn't feel like a boy trying to prove something. It felt like he knew something no one else did. And then, minute 21, he picked the ball up just outside the box. A defender to beat, another closing in. The crowd rose, sensing the impossible. He cut inside on his left, and like time paused for breath, he curled it. Top corner. The net rippled. Silence. Then chaos, the youngest goal scorer in Euro history. But that wasn't the headline. The real story? Spain believed again. Not just in the match, in the future. Because that boy, that kid from a neighborhood they couldn't pronounce, had made it all feel possible again. In the second half, France equalized. The game hung in balance, and while veterans struggled with nerves, it was Yamal who calmed the storm. A perfectly timed pass, a flick, a run that split the defense, minute 77. Assist, Spain ahead. When the final whistle blew, he didn't roar, didn't jump into the crowd. He dropped to his knees, hands to face, not in celebration, in gratitude. Back in the locker room, no champagne, just a quiet call home. His mother crying on the other end, his father unable to speak. The boy simply said, "We're in the final." But the story didn't end there. In the final against England, he didn't score. But he was everywhere. Drawing fouls, linking play, pulling defenders wide, creating space. And when Spain lifted the trophy, the captain handed it to Yamal first, because they all knew he didn't just play in this tournament. He defined it. The confetti had barely settled in Berlin. Euro 2024 was over. Spain were champions. And yet, Lamine Yamal didn't celebrate long, because another mountain waited. Barcelona, Champions League semi-finals. The stage wasn't any smaller. In fact, it might have been bigger. Because while the Euros had the hearts of a continent, the Champions League had the world's gaze. The first leg was against Manchester City. A tactical chess match turned brawl, midfield grit, defensive walls, and then, minute 63, Flick unleashed Yamal. The teenager didn't hesitate. He didn't study the pace. He said it. A single touch, a twist past Joško Gvardiol, and then came the moment. A cross bent in with the grace of a violinist drawing out a final note. Lewandowski met it. Goal. Advantage Barcelona. But it wasn't just the assist. It was the aura. Commentators around the world began to whisper what seemed ridiculous just months ago. Is he the best teenager we've ever seen? In the second leg, City came roaring back. De Bruyne struck early. The game looked doomed, until Yamal again. Drifting from the right, he danced between three defenders, cut in on his left, and sent the ball curling toward the far post. Off the bar. In. The Nou Camp shook like thunder. Barcelona advanced. Yamal didn't smile. He clapped, hugged his teammates, then jogged to the stands, where a boy in a wheelchair held up a sign. "You gave me hope." Yamal walked over, took off his shirt, gave the boy his boots. Cameras caught the moment. The world caught its breath, not because it was a PR stunt, because it was him, always him. Barcelona would go on to beat Bayern in the semis, and now they're headed to Wembley, one game away from Champions League glory, from a La Liga Champions League double. And if they win, at 17 years old, Lamine Yamal could win the Ballon d'Or. That's not just historic, it's unthinkable, and yet here we are. When asked about it, Yamal shook his head. "I just want to keep playing. Like Messi told me once, the ball doesn't care how old you are, only how much you love it." It was true. He wasn't chasing legacy, he was living it. The camera fades in. Wembley, a sea of red and blue. Flags wave, voices tremble. And then history. Barcelona wins the Champions League. Final whistle. Ecstasy. Lamine Yamal, just 17, is mobbed by teammates. Confetti sticks to his sweat. He looks up, eyes wide. not in disbelief, but in something deeper. Acceptance. He's not arriving. He's arrived. And yet, the story still feels surreal. In the press room, questions fire like arrows. Ballon d'Or? Youngest ever? How do you handle the pressure? He smiles. One day at a time. But later, alone in the locker room, a different side of him appears. He pulls out a worn notebook, notes from his La Masia days. On the last page, written in his younger handwriting, "Make people feel something when I play." He did more than that. He made them believe. Social media explodes. Tributes pour in. Messi posts a single word. Proud. The Ballon d'Or ceremony comes. The world holds its breath. Yamal walks onto the stage, not with swagger but with grace. As if carrying not just a trophy but the dreams of millions of kids watching from places like Esplugues, Rabat, Malabo. He wins. The youngest ever. He thanks his family, his coaches, his teammates. Then he pauses. And thank you to the kid I used to be for not giving up. Applause. Tears. Legacy. It's still being written. Because this isn't the end. It's a new beginning. Somewhere right now a kid is juggling a ball in a back alley, hoping someone believes in them. And maybe, just maybe, they'll whisper one name. Yamal. The finals. Scene fades to black. But stay tuned, because legends don't end, they evolve, to be continued.